if we continue doing things the way we've always done them, then no, we're not on the right track. You know, we've been losing ocean every year for the past 50 years. Every year we have less life in the ocean. So continuing to do what we've always done I don't think that's the solution. But what's, I think, exciting about this moment is that if we're able to harness these new technologies and these new innovations that are coming online now, then for the first time in our history, we'll be able to address exponential loss, which is what we're experiencing in our ocean, exponential loss. But we'll be able to address it with exponential solutions. Because up until now, we've been addressing exponential loss with incremental change. And that's why we're seeing, you know, more extinctions, more loss of our ocean resources, loss of biodiversity, you know, increased climate instability. Like the trends are not reversing, and what we need them to do is to reverse. We can reverse climate change. We can reverse ocean loss. We can reverse the loss of biodiversity. And to do that, we need to meet exponential loss with exponential change. And now we have the technology that allows us to enable and amplify everyone to be a contributor to that vision, rather than everybody reacting their way into the future, you know, doing whatever seems like a good idea in the moment. Then that requires us to share a vision of a more abundant future and to believe that we can reverse these changes. And, you know, I believe that science and technology aren't going to be a magical kind of solution, but they are the tools that we can deploy to reverse these bad trends. We can reverse them if we're able to deploy them strategically and in service of a vision that we all share. Everybody. It's going to take everybody. I think it takes enlightened leaders at the government level and at the corporate level to look beyond short-term gain and profit and start to think about how rebuilding abundance in our oceans and on our land, in our environment, benefits everybody. A lot of people that I talk to feel kind of depressed about climate change and the fires and the floods and the melting Arctic ice caps, and you know, and it is depressing when you look at it that way and you think, wow, like the system that we have in place today is not changing that outcome. That's depressing. So how do we change that system? First of all, we have to remember that there has been huge change in the past 10 years. We've made social changes, we've made technological changes, we've changed so much. When you just look at the last 2 years with the pandemic, huge change, right? We developed a vaccine in record time. We've vaccinated hundreds of millions of people. We've changed the way that we do things. We forget how much change has happened in the past 10 years. So it's hard to imagine the amount of change that could happen in the next 10 years if we focus our intent on the same thing and we deploy all of the technologies that we've developed and the new ones that are in development with that intent. Then I think that we could be surprised at what we can accomplish. Obviously, nobody knows. But I think that it's short-sighted to assume that nothing will change and that the outcome is already determined. And the tools are coming that allow us to create real transformative change at an individual level in a way that we never could before. our ability to contribute to the restoration of different ecosystems in ways that are tangible, that we can be part of and watch and follow. The way we can share that and do that as communities. Those tools are coming. And I think that, while it remains really important for us to consider our use of plastic, to ask questions about where our seafood comes from, to demand accountability and transparency from our elected leaders, from our corporate leaders, and from ourselves, I think we're just at the very beginning of what citizen activism can accomplish. For Portugal, this is such a beautiful country that has so much ocean and is so connected to the ocean that there's a lot that the Portuguese can do to lead the world in terms of ocean protection, marine protected areas, transparency and traceability in seafood supply chains that should be mandated. Managing waste so it doesn't end up in the ocean. Like that, I think that a lot of European nations have had for a long time an exploitative approach to the ocean. Like, we love the ocean, we're gonna take it, and we're gonna eat it, and we're gonna, it's ours. But when you have that historical connection to the ocean that informs your culture, your cuisine, so much of your history, if you can turn that love into stewardship so that you say, wow, I don't want to eat fish that's been pirated, from marine protected areas and that uses human slavery. I want to know where my fish comes from so that I'm sure that it comes from a place of abundance and a place of stewardship. I want to manage my plastic consumption so that I can contribute to a cleaner ocean and that animals aren't choking on my garbage. I just arrived. Fort is the first thing I saw, but it's impressive. And of course I saw everybody on the beach and surfing and enjoying the water and the tide pools, and it looks beautiful, and definitely a place I was thinking on my way here that I'd love to come back to with my family.